Hey everybody, welcome back. James out here again with you, and today I want to talk a little bit more about the pellet skirts. If you've seen my previous video about the pellet dissection, talking about pellet skirts of each pellet, so here's like basically the shape of the JSB skirt, and here's the shape of the Crossman. Well, you can see the Crossman is more squared off, and the JSB is more of a cone, shape than square. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, and a lot of people don't know this, that the Crossman Dome back in the day in the 90s were the world's most accurate pellet. And saying that, they've won the most field target trophy championships back then. Well, then JSB came along. So the reason why I guess the trend of JSB follows, and I'm not saying they're a bad pellet by no means, or Crossman. I'm not biased. Whatever works for me. Now, the reason why one outshoots the other in today's world, for one, a lot of people are using PCPs. There probably wasn't as many PCPs back then, PCP rifles, as there are now. I mean, I know that for a fact. Every airgun company has a PCP rifle now. I'm sure that they were limited back then, and field target trophy championships and all that. A lot of guys were using spring break barrel air rifles, and the most famous one and most accurate one of that is the Air Arms 200. So, with that said, there's a reason why that the JSB got chosen over the Crossman, and I got a little experiment right here in front of you to show you that. But I also want to tell you this. So again, you see how the Crossman and the JSB pellet skirts are shaped? Well, if you've never heard me mention it, this is your first time watching. I mentioned in my other prior videos that the way the air from your air rifle hits the skirt of the pellet is what makes the biggest difference in the chamber of the rifle, or the breech. So if the pellet is not straight, or gets turned, or gets somewhat off balance in the barrel itself, it's not going to shoot good downrange. So if you can't see where I'm going with this, let me show you real quick. So like I said, that the Air Arms TX200 rifle was the most accurate back in the day. I mean, it still is an accurate gun, don't get me wrong, but people were using the Crossman pellets with it. Well, guess what? The air was being blown directly on the pellet itself, whereas a PCP rifle, the air had to come up through a port and then hit the skirt. There's a big difference when you're bending air and then when air is going straight to the pellet itself. And that is how most PCP rifles, I mean, there isn't really any PCP rifles that I know of that the air blows directly behind the pellet. Well, I take that back. Techs and Air Force rifles, I believe it's Air Force that has the bottle directly behind the pellet. But other than that, the rest of the PCP air rifles on the market have a air reservoir underneath the barrel that the air flows back and over into the pellet skirt. And I got an experiment to show you why this pellet design works better with PCPs, and this pellet design works better with the air blowing behind the skirt directly, not through a fill port. Because don't get me wrong, all the air is going to go behind the pellet, but the way the air is bent to the pellet skirt is what causes it to fly extremely well, and I'll show you this. So here is my little experiment, and I have two cups, two different designs of cups here. And each cup has 1 cup of water in it. 8 ounces, 1 cup of water. Okay. So, as you can see, that cup is basically the same design as a Crossman pellet. It has that squared off at the bottom, whereas this cup is more curved. So let me show you this quick experiment. I've done this many times, guys, and this is crazy. So watch the cup. So I'm going to pour the water over it. Just watch the cup. Do you see it move? Now, watch this cup. Same amount of water. Okay, you ready? Cup did not move once. So I thought that that was a very interesting experiment, just to show you guys with two different designs of a cup how this works, and why the best demonstration that I can come up with and easiest way to explain it. So again, this being, you know, like a JSB pellet, because it's more curved the way the air would hit it. In this case, it's water. And this cup as a Crossman, because it's more squared, and you could see when the water hit it, it tilted. Now, if you could just think about it as the barrel pointing down at the ground, that's what would happen. So again, this was the best way I can demonstrate that, and just to show you guys this. So I hope you find this very interesting, which I did. I wanted to share it and get this out to you guys to show you this as the reason why. To me, it doesn't matter what brand of pellet. To me, it gets down to why it flies good, and then, you know, again, price, none of that stuff. I'm not biased about anything. If a pellet works, it works. But I also want to find out why it doesn't and why it does work. So, alright guys, I appreciate you watching as always, and thanks for coming over to the second channel. If you just subscribed, see you on the next one.